Today's talk is brought to you by the letter W for wolves. This is kind of a metaphor for life in general, but especially in business. The story starts when I was in the Techstars Accelerator, and one of the managers, well, he saw that my company, we were having a lot of trouble pivoting because the business model that we came in with was not going to work. And we needed to find something else that would work. We spent a lot of time trying to find something that would work for us. And after several weeks, I think he got the impression that we weren't taking the risk of making that pivot and making progress seriously because he decided to tell us a little story. I can imagine how from the outside it might have looked like we were taking our sweet ass time, So his story was how our runway, our funds, the way we're burning through that money is basically like a wolf who's chasing us down, and we have to hurry up and get out of there, find a way to escape the wolf, otherwise we'll get eaten. I spoke to him years later, and he didn't remember this story at all. I thought that this was like kind of a general story that he would tell people, tell companies whenever they were in a situation like this. But no, apparently he made it up on the spot. So anyway, that story always stuck with me. However, there was something not quite right about it, something incomplete or something, I don't know what it was. I didn't know what it was until a year or two ago. I was watching a YouTube video and it was describing the differences between big dogs like wolves and big cats like lions and tigers. And they're fundamentally built different from the ground up for different kinds of hunting. And I would love to go into all the details about how the feet, the claws, the fangs, the forebody, the front half of the body, everything is built different so that big cats, they tend to do a lot more solo hunting. Big dogs, wolves especially, tend to pack hunt much more, especially if it's larger prey, And so that was my aha moment of, that's why the story doesn't quite work for me. It's because wolves are pack hunters. Now, once that clicked into place, I had a perfect metaphor for business and why lots of times business leaders will make not just the wrong decision, but actually the perfectly wrong decision. It's an anti-decision. You're running in precisely the wrong direction that you should not be running. But it happens so frequently, it's such a pattern. Why does that happen? Well, I would say that the market, reality, whatever business you're operating, whatever industry, vertical, whatever, that functions as if it's a pack of wolves hunting you down. Now, when a wolf pack is hunting something down, the prey will tend to only see one or two wolves at any particular time until it's too late. But initially, you're just running away from one wolf. And your instinct is to run in the opposite direction. But that's basically where the pack is trying to get you to run. And so if you just follow your first instinct and you're like, oh, wolf there, I will run that way, there's a very, very good chance that you're doing precisely what you shouldn't be doing. Because there is a wolf that's trying to basically do the same thing that herding dogs are doing. They're herding the pack in a particular direction. That is the job of that wolf, and that's the wolf that you see. And then once you start running in that direction, the other wolves make sure that you keep going in that direction. If you ever veer off course, they snap at you, and you keep going in whatever direction they want you to go until, there's a dead end. And now you see the entire pack. They all start nipping at you. They'll start clawing and nipping at you until you're worn down and you just get eaten at that point. That is a metaphor for the business environment. The combination of just kind of nature, the way that the world works, but also your competitors are part of the wolf pack. Even customers or prospective customers, they're not trying to eat you, of course, but they will communicate things in a way that will lead you in a certain direction, but that's not necessarily what you ought to be doing from a high-level business perspective, you know? All of these things conspire to lead you in certain directions that you, if you really examine things, ought not to be doing. So what should you do to not get eaten by the wolf pack? If your instinct is to run that way, well, should you just run straight towards that first wolf? No, because then you'll probably get bitten and eaten up that way too. What you really need to do is, okay, so I can't go straight that way, but if I just blindly go this way, that's trouble, but I can't go that way. So you'll let them corral you a little bit, but you have to have your eyes open. You have to be looking for exits, places that you can maybe hide. Maybe you can unexpectedly go in a certain direction or other that takes them by surprise, and then you're able to escape and live. You're never going to know with 100% certainty if the path that you choose is the path that is going to break free from that pack that's hunting you down. You're going to have to take calculated bets. But one thing that is guaranteed to steer you in the wrong direction every time is if you just let the market tell you what to do. This could take any number of forms. Maybe you just mimic what all of the competitors are doing. Maybe you only focus on one variable, like you only work on focusing on how much spend you have, but you ignore building a better product, or you only focus on sales, or maybe you only build an awesome product, but there's not actually really a market for it yet, or there's no sales pipeline developed. Any number of things. If you just focus on the one most obvious thing, you're gonna fail. Okay, so that was a lot of gloom and doom there, but there is hope. There's a lot of hope, actually, because all that it takes to survive is really just paying attention. It's resisting the temptation to think, oh, here's what we need to do, and just doing that forever. You have to constantly check in with reality and reorient where you're going, and just constantly be aware of what the environment is telling you. That's how you survive the wolf pack. And, by the way, very few of your competitors do that well. So if you are able to do that well, that will be one of your huge edges over the competition. So go forth and prosper and escape that wolf pack.